America's Heartland is made possible by Farm Credit, financing agriculture and rural America since 1916. Farm Credit is cooperatively owned by America's farmers and ranchers. Learn more at farmcredit.com. The United Soybean Board, whose Common Ground program creates conversations to help consumers get the facts about farming and food. There's more at findourcommonground.com. The American Farm Bureau Foundation for Agriculture, dedicated to building greater awareness and understanding of agriculture through education and engagement. More information at agfoundation.org. The Fund for Agriculture Education, a fund created by KBIE to support America's Heartland programming. Contributors include the following.
I'm Sarah Gardner. Summertime delivers some of our favorite fruits and vegetables. We'll take you to Alabama, where one farm family is hauling in a harvest of sweet and juicy watermelons.
Hi there, I'm Rob Stewart. It's a pretty good bet right now that you're wearing something made from cotton. It is a crop making a big comeback in Virginia. So coming up, we'll take you to Virginia to meet a longtime farmer working hard to keep his tradition alive by welcoming his son back to the land.
Come summertime, everyone loves those bright red tomatoes in the garden. Hi, I'm Sharon Vaknin. Are you ready for something different? We have some special tomato recipes to share with you.
Are you a fast talker? As fast as Blaine Lotz? Well, if so, maybe you can compete with him to be the best auctioneer in the country. Coming up right here on America's Heartland.
You can see it in the eyes of every woman and man in America's heartland, living close to the land. There's a love for the country and a pride in the brand. In America's heartland, living close to the land.
Almost every profession has its honors. The film industry has the Academy Awards. In television, they have the Emmys. And even the men and women who rattle off dollar figures at cattle auctions have a national competition where speed, skill, and style get you the gold.
Welcome
to the World Livestock Auctioneer Championship, where speed, skill, and style are on full display. And for cattle auctioneers, this event,
it's absolutely the Super Bowl.
This is my fourth time in the contest.
Oklahoman Bailey Ballou is one of 10 finalists whittled down from a pool of the best 33 auctioneers in the country.
Once I got past the nerves, got into the finals, I felt a lot better. And so I think they really got to see who I am and how I sell today.
They aren't just people who are sitting in the stands of the sale barn. Bailey is trying to impress the judges who decide who brings home top honors.
Voice quality, how they perceive and sell the cattle, and true price discovery for the market and for the producers they're working for.
82 on 55, 82 on 55.
Auctions have been around as long as people have been raising livestock in the United States. Farmers and ranchers bring their cattle to a regional sale barn where they look to get top dollar from buyers. And at the center of it all is the auctioneer.
And that auctioneer being able to drive to the very top dollar, that's crucial to our industry and what these producers get for them, in my mind. That's the money they get to spend for the year, and the only person that determines that is that auctioneer and those buyers sitting in those seats. So it is a very vital part of all these people's livelihoods.
So if the bids for these beauties are looking a little low, time to turn it up a notch. While there are quite a few veterans of sale barns here, a fresh face is also making his debut on the national stage. And he's turning heads. It's the first year 18-year-old Blaine Lotz is eligible to compete, and he's made it to the finals. To find out why this teenager turned up with such talking and timing talent, you have to go to his home state. and the sale barn here in tiny Fredonia, Kansas, where every Tuesday at noon, Blaine is running the show. And in the crowd, one woman keeps a closer eye on him than most of the bidders. Outside the sale barn, meet Blaine's mother, Carla.
Now 11, now 11, 13, now 14, now 15, 16, now 17, now 17, 18, 18, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, sold them $1.20.
My dad was an auctioneer. I went to auctioneering school in Davenport, Iowa, and when I come out, I instantly went to selling hogs at Springfield Stockyards. The last time I sold full-time was the day I went into labor with Blaine. I was going to leave the sale barn and take off a week. I left the sale barn, and an hour later my water broke and I was in labor with him. And his lullaby was the auction chant. You know, he's been blessed with this really good voice. He's very clear, but it's the spirit. I mean, he's getting it anyways, and he loves what he does. So that's what I love watching him. Love what he's doing. I mean, how lucky can you be?
Sold him 125, but I'm on 74.
He's the best.
Tell me everything I know.
He's the best.
Better than you?
Yes, yes. He's much better than I am.
All right, so teach me a little bit here. How do we do this?
So dollar bill now 1.
Dollar bill now 1.
Go 2.
Go 2.
Give 3.
Give 3.
How about 4?
How about 4?
Bid 5.
Bid 5.
6 here.
6 here.
Now 7.
Now 7.
Bid 8.
Bid 8.
Give 9.
Give 9.
10.
10.
11.
11.
12.
12.
How about even 13?
136 here to get Sam dollar here $141 $141
Back in Turlock, California, Blaine's competition is tough. And in the finals, he takes 7th place.
I've watched this competition a lot, and I'm competing against the guys I've been watching for years in this contest. And it's just great to be back in the top 10.
And the winner, Bailey Ballou.
And I don't want to brag on myself in any way, because you look at these other guys and I respect them, and I love the way they work.
33 and 4, 74 and a half. We sold them here. Sold them to you, sir.
Auctioneering has a long history. The word itself comes from a Latin phrase meaning to increase or augment. Stockholm, Sweden boasts the oldest auction house in the world. It opened in 1674. And one note on cattle auctions, a single dairy cow named Mist sold for $1.3 million at auction in 1985. Mist was the matriarch of a long line of star milk producers.
Finding a career path for one young man meant time away from a farm family tradition. But his return to the land brought back new ideas and a new relationship with his father, growing cotton and other crops sustainably and successfully.
Particularly in this area of the world, we're very much at Mother Nature's hands. This wheat is screaming, it needs to come out of this field.
Steele Byram knows you can't rush nature. That's just a fact about farming. But not long ago, this Virginia native wasn't even sure about choosing this way of life. After college, Steele got a well-paying job with a major food company. But something drew him back to the soil and to a family business stretching back 4 generations.
The generation gap between my grandfather and me, you know, he could work harder than his neighbor and make a viable living. My ability to make a living farming is going to be a lot more outsmarting markets and being a step ahead of what's going on worldwide.
Right behind you in that plastic bag. Don't bump your head on it, because another snake would have ate you up.
Being a step ahead of nature or of world commodity prices is one of the many things Steele's learning from his father. He's now growing wheat, cotton, and soybeans on his farm just down the road from his dad. Cecil Byram says he didn't demand or even expect his son to return to farming, but he admits to quietly rejoicing when it happened.
There is nothing that I know of that's more honorable than having a son that wants to do what you did to make a living, you know. I think it's very important because nobody's going to have a more vested interest in the future of a farm than a family member.
Today's a pretty typical day. All of the morning's best laid plans are quickly changing. They'd hoped to harvest the winter wheat, but the seeds and the ground are still too moist from recent rains. Instead, they'll spray some much-needed fertilizer on their cotton fields. It's a crop that's making a comeback in Virginia. The Byrams invested heavily in cotton after worldwide competition started impacting Virginia's peanut growing industry. It's a safer bet than corn during the years when the rain is scarce.
This area of the world, they say you're never more than 10 days away from a drought. We have very fertile, very productive soil, but it's very thirsty land.
Walk the fields with Steele Byram and you quickly discover some of farming's many challenges, varying soils with different water needs, and threats like this fast-growing pigweed.
We can see some pigweed starting to break ground here. This pigweed is going to grow 26 inches tall and it's going to shade out your cotton, and you won't even know that there's a cotton field here.
For the Byrams, modern farming means going easy on the environment. They practice no-till farming, where residue from the last crop is left on the ground to prevent erosion, provide more soil nutrients, and reduce evaporation. And modern technology like GPS positioning means using no more than what's needed to feed the soil and fight pests. It's called precision agriculture.
There's nobody that has more of an interest in a safe, sound, secure environment than the farmers in the rural areas to protect their areas, protect this for our families and for our neighbors.
With all of farming's challenges, this father and son must share resources. They've also learned this family's future requires consensus when tough decisions demand it. And it is strengthened by a closeness common to this way of life.
It really is a mixture of new ideas and old ideas. That family thread that brings you back together, that bonds you together.
Farming is a labor of love. It's been good. It's been good to me. It's been good for my family life. It's a huge responsibility, and I take a lot of joy and pride in trying to keep it going.
It's thought that early Egyptians were the first to grow cotton commercially, but cotton was being grown in diverse locations from Latin America to India some 7,000 years ago. Cotton is used in clothing, cattle feed, Q-tips, and cash. U.S. dollars are 75% cotton, 25% linen.
Hi, I'm Sharon Vaknin. Still ahead, we'll take you from farm to fork with some very tasty tomato recipes you'll want to try at home.
I'm Sarah Gardner. Still ahead, we'll take you to Alabama and a harvest of sweet and juicy watermelons.
Hi, my name is Joseph Platts, and I have a question about agriculture. I eat oatmeal for breakfast, I have corn chips with my lunch, and wheat bread on almost all my sandwiches. It seems like a whole lot of grains, so I was just wondering, how much grains do we eat in this country, and what do we eat more of? Corn, wheat, or what?
You're right. Grains do make up a big part of the American diet, and they're important crops to farmers all across the heartland. You mentioned oatmeal and corn chips, but don't forget about hamburger buns, breakfast cereals. Even many fruit bars contain grains. And we're not alone when it comes to gobbling up grains. Wheat and wheat products? China, India, and Russia are big consumers. Rice? Add Indonesia, Pakistan, and Turkey to those folks in Asia who eat rice. And while Americans consume more corn products than other folks around the globe, Brazil, Mexico, and Japan are high on the list as well. But which grains do we enjoy the most? Well, that's tough to determine, not only because consumption can vary dramatically by geographic region, race, and ethnicity, but because grains like wheat, corn, barley, rice, and oats are also used in ways you may not even think about. Things like food additives or thickeners in sauces and gravies. Grains are even used in the production of liquor and beer. We consume more grains than we did 30 years ago, and there are many more products available today that have grains as their main ingredient. The Department of Agriculture recommends that, like all food choices, you balance your diet and eat whole grains, which have a better nutritional value.
I know tomato farmers are pretty passionate about their tomatoes, but so are the people who cook with them. Casey, tell me about your greenhouse farm.
We grow truss tomatoes on the vine to get the most nutritional value, the most flavor, and just the best quality fruit.
How does growing them in a greenhouse affect the flavor and style of your tomato?
Well, it allows us to have a consistent product 365 days a year. You can find that same tomato looking that same way in December, in August, in March, anytime.
Well, I say we cook with them. So today I'm making eggs poached in a spicy tomato sauce and my take on the Italian panzanella salad. What are you making?
I'm making Nina's tomato pie.
Ooh, that sounds
Yeah,
good.
it is
Tomato
good.
pie,
Yeah.
who would think? What do we gotta do?
Well, first we gotta spray the dish. This is the pie crust, pre-made frozen pie crust. Well, we pre-sliced and drained the tomatoes.
Okay.
Okay, so we put a layer of tomatoes. And then we're gonna take a little bit of the mozzarella in between each layer.
All right, tell me how much?
That just a little bit.
Okay.
Now we're gonna put a layer of the basil in there. So now we just do another layer of the tomatoes. Now we're gonna put in a last layer of tomatoes. This time we're gonna make the topping.
Okay.
Okay, it's half a cup of mayonnaise, 2 cups of the cheese, pepper. Now we gotta take a couple of cloves of garlic.
Mmm, smells so good.
Finish mixing it up. Okay, so now we're going to try and get it fully covered. There we go. Okay, so we pop it in the oven.
Can't wait. Now let's make my take on an Italian salad called panzanella. So why don't we go ahead and slice those tomatoes into wedges. While you do that, I'm gonna slice up this garlic. Now I'm going to cube our bread, but I like to toast it a bit to sort of make croutons. Throw all of the bread on there, and then we'll drizzle them with a little bit of olive oil. While I slice these red bell peppers, why don't you have these artichoke hearts?
Okay.
Plain artichoke hearts in brine. I'm going to give these sun-dried tomatoes a rough chop. All right, Casey, now I'm gonna have you chiffonade some basil. Those look really good. I'm just gonna slide them right into the salad. We're just about done. All I need to do is make the dressings, a liberal amount of olive oil, and white balsamic vinegar. A little sweet and sour taste there, and now all we have to do is mix it. Now we're traveling from Italy to the Middle East, where eggs poached in tomato sauce is a very popular dish. Dice about a pound of tomatoes, if it's just for you and I, while I chop up some of these serrano chilies. I'm also gonna slice up some garlic. Now we wanna heat up a 1/4 cup of oil. We can add our peppers and our garlic. Once that's ready to go, we'll throw in the tomatoes. We're gonna let these simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes until they're a little thickened and all the water is released. All that's left is to cook our eggs. So what we'll do is, how many eggs do you want?
2.
2? Okay. So right on top, just like that. All right, I have this simmering on the lowest setting, and we'll check up on these in about 5 minutes. Meanwhile, let's go set our table.
Okay.
You ready to try this?
Absolutely.
All right, I'm excited to hear what you think. First time. And I like to serve it with a little feta.
Okay.
Oh, and of course we can't forget our panzanella salad.
Yeah.
Can we eat now?
Absolutely.
All right, I'm ready to try this tart. Oh, all that mozzarella and that cheesy topping. It is so good. And you know, the tomatoes aren't overcooked.
No, the salad is delicious.
Mmm.
You really taste the balsamic and the roasted tomatoes. It's all good. Very good.
You can tell these were just picked.
Yeah.
Because they are so fresh. They've got a sweet flavor. They're not too watery. You have seriously perfected these tomatoes. All right, now I can't wait to hear what you think about my eggs poached in tomato sauce.
Wow, that's good. It's spicy.
It is,
Yeah.
and it doesn't hit you at first,
No,
right?
it doesn't.
Check it out. We prepared tomato in 3 completely different ways. And another reason to be passionate about them, they are so good no matter how you prepare them.
Very delicious, nutritious too.
Americans eat lots of tomatoes, on average about 24 pounds a year, much of that in tomato sauce and ketchup. Tomatoes are low in calories and high in antioxidants, fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Botanically a fruit, most people consider tomatoes a vegetable, which is perhaps why Arkansas has chosen tomatoes as both the state fruit and state vegetable.
Produce production here and elsewhere follows the sun as it warms the soil from south to north in the spring and summer. For farmers, that means being ready to plant, tending those crops, and bringing in the harvest when it's time to connect with consumers. On a hot, steamy midsummer morning in central Alabama, Jerry Cooper and his brother Terry are busy managing the harvest of their watermelon crop.
I have a Crimson Sweet variety, and I have a Sugar Baby, what you call a Sugar Baby, better known as an icebox.
The brothers are third-generation growers on the property, although they both had other careers before returning to the family farm.
Up until about 4 years ago, it was me, my mother, and father. And like my mother handled the business end of it, like going to get fertilizer seeds and paying the bills and stuff, and me and my father did the work in the field. So, like I say, for the last 4 years, I've been having to do it all. But now my brother, if I need something from town or break a boat or something, or plow, he'll go get it, go pick the hands up in the morning and take them to the field. So he's been a big help.
It's great. It's a family organization, you know, and we like to keep it going. I like to pass it on down to my niece and nephew, my son, you know, and keep it going.
16, 17.
Alabama's hot days and warm nights make for an excellent growing environment.
All right, let's do it.
The Coopers will harvest hundreds of watermelons each year. Some will go to a regional farmers market. Others go to wholesalers, headed for the produce section of supermarkets. And some get sold right on the farm.
We got some people, you know, rather come by here and get it than going to the market and picking it up. Because most of the time you come here and you get it for a cheaper price than you do on the market.
On this particular morning, the harvested melons are loaded up.
Well, I'm finna head to the farmer's market in Birmingham and try to deliver the watermelons. And hopefully I'll have a good day selling them.
Watermelons generate about $500 million each year for American farmers. Alabama's neighbors of Georgia and Florida are two of the top producers. Alabama's production has diminished in recent years. The Cooper brothers think that part of the reason can be found in the difficulty of acquiring farm labor to plant and harvest the crops.
Right now, I don't farm as many acres as we used to because you can't get the help, but we still farm around 100 and 125 acres of vegetables. The young people that's coming along, they don't know anything about field work. They're not interested, and they don't really know how.
After a 90-minute drive, Jerry joins other farmers selling their produce at a Birmingham farmers market.
If you got a large quantity of produce, you can move it here. You know, you can sell it.
The access to food, fresh off the farm, is the draw for many consumers here. They begin looking even as Jerry and his crew are unloading.
They haven't been transferred from here, there, and yonder. So, right from out the ground to the market. So, that makes it much better.
I come to the farmer's market about 2 or 3 times a week, really. I'm out here all the time. That's the only place you can find fresh vegetables.
Yeah, when they put it over there.
Produce has long been a key crop on the Cooper farm, but the brothers see the need to diversify to benefit their bottom line and to face what they see as production challenges in the future.
Most of the people move out of the country to the cities, and you can't get the help like you used to. That's why I plant some grain, such as wheat, soybeans, and field corn, because you can get it with a machine.
We grow good produce, and people like that, you know. And my father taught me to do the best you can with what you got and make sure people enjoy it.
That's going to wrap it up for us. We're glad that you could come along as we introduce you to interesting people and places in America's heartland.
And don't forget, we've got a lot more to share with you online. We'll make it easy for you. Just log on to americasheartland.org to see video and stories from all of our shows. We'll see you next time right here at America's Heartland.
You can purchase a DVD or Blu-ray copy of this program. Here's the cost. To order, just visit us online or call 888-814-3923.
You can see it in the eyes of every woman and man in America's heartland, living close to the land. There's a love for the country and a pride in the brand in America's heartland, living close to the land.
America's Heartland is made possible by Farm Credit, financing agriculture and rural America since 1916. Farm Credit is cooperatively owned by America's farmers and ranchers. Learn more at farmcredit.com. The United Soybean Board, whose Common Ground program creates conversations to help consumers get the facts about farming and food. There's more at findourcommonground.com. The American Farm Bureau Foundation for Agriculture, dedicated to building greater awareness and understanding of agriculture through education and engagement. More information at agfoundation.org. The Fund for Agriculture Education, a fund created by KVIE to support America's Heartland programming. Contributors include the following: